So a lot of people that are looking at hopping into being a YouTuber or content creator, they're a little scared to get involved because they're just wondering, like, from an equipment perspective, how do I get started? Then they see all this big camera gear from big YouTubers, they get highly intimidated. So,
Yeah.
like, what
My,
advice would
my
yeah, what advice would you give for someone starting out from an equipment perspective to help them with that?
it's okay to see those things and be intimidated, but there are plenty of content creators who started out very modestly and are very successful today. And the thing is, you're also revealing your hand because you're worried about growing it first and you're worried about nobody watching, or if they watch they'll criticize you. When you're a beginner, you're a beginner. It's okay if nothing is perfect. It's okay if everything looks bad or sounds bad initially as a beginner. I'm not saying it's okay to continue in that path. I'm saying it's necessary to start. If you were a sports player and you never played a sport, you never played football, you never played basketball, everything you do, your techniques are going to be horrible. Your throws are going to suck. They're going to be weak. They're going to be sloppy. They're going to be wildly inefficient. You're not going to be sitting there like really tackling anybody. You're going to be sitting there panting out of breath just from the first sprint. It's going to be a hot mess. Content creation is no different than a sport in that regard. If you pick up a musical instrument tomorrow, it's going to sound like trash. There's no way it doesn't. Even if you have some level of natural ability, you have no training. So even if you have talent without training is nothing. Another quote from Luke Skywalker there. Like, you actually need to be trained. You need experience. There's not respect, I think, for the experience it takes to be capable of making quality content. And because everyone keeps hearing quality over quantity, they refuse to accept that you have to do a lot of bad content to learn how to do good content. There's a process to learning editing. You will not be good at it after doing it 10 times. You need hours, but you need hundreds of hours. You need hundreds of hours, maybe thousands, to be good at it. It's very complicated. It's very nuanced. It's very sophisticated. It has a technical barrier to it. And technology is making it better, and there are better tools, and some of them are on your phone. Some of the best apps are on your phone. LumaFusion is great for editing. Adobe Rush is great for editing. iMovie is trash. So Adobe Rush or use LumaFusion. Adobe Rush is free. And I'm not sponsored by Adobe right now, but I probably will be. But I'm not shilling for them, I promise. I've just been using them forever, and it's easy and it's convenient. And in this case, it's free. So just use Adobe Rush. Or if you want, buy LumaFusion for $30, own it forever. It's a really good program. Maybe you play with Video Leap. I believe that one's free. I think it's in my video on 6 free or cheap video editing apps for beginners. Just use a better app than iMovie, in my opinion, because you won't be held back by the limitations. You'll be able to, at least from an editing standpoint, compete with regular YouTubers who are established, but you got to get experience. You got to train. You got to practice. The equipment is the reason we spend so much money. Is we've made money from YouTube. So we're spending money into making the best experience possible. And we have a fan base. We have standards. We have people who we want to deliver better looking, better sounding, but more well-lit content for. But to start, all of you, your phones are better than what me and every creator had 10 years ago, even if we spent money. So your phones are a better tool than we ever had when we started. So that's fine to start. When you make money from YouTube, invest it back instead of improving your lifestyle, unless your situation is really horrible. Invest it back into giving a better experience to viewers, because then you have more support and more viewers and more of a reason for people to continue being loyal. And then you'll be able to earn more money as your audience and influence grows, because people see you put effort in to giving them a better product. So a better product, more customer loyalty. And then you could decide what an upper limit is for that. I don't think you guys have to go to an upper limit of having a $10,000 setup like a lot of us full-time big YouTubers. I think a lot of you could just use, like I have, if I switch cameras, I have a Sony ZV-E10 here that I'm displaying on the camera. For the audio listeners to know, I just switched cameras. All right, that's a $700 camera body. So that's a little bit of investment. You could save up for that. You spent $700 on other things. That's an Xbox and some games, and some of you brought that during the pandemic. It's a $250 lens, and it looks really nice, and it looks blurry background like every big YouTuber. So you're already less than $1,000 in. You can get like a Sennheiser MKE 200 or 400. That'll run you $99 to $100. Or you can get a Deity microphone. I think it's a V Pro Mini 4 or something like that, and it's like $50, right? So you get a Deity shotgun microphone, a mini, and it's like $40 or $50. So you're under $1,000. You already have a good camera, a good lens, a good microphone for audio quality. It'll give you vlog-like content. It can do live streaming. The only thing you need after that is lighting for the most part, and like a decent tripod or a handle. You can get a DJI gimbal for like $80 to $100, and you'll have this stable thing for vlogging, no shaky cam. And so you'll have that. In terms of regular tripod after that, you can get a Manfrotto action tripod for $70, and it'll last you your whole career and be portable, great for travel, lightweight, easy to set up. And then none of this is sponsored. And then you can
hashtag not sponsored.
And then you can get like a newer ring light. If you want a ring light, you get a newer ring light, bicolor, dimmable, $80 with a stand, $90. And if you are wearing glasses and you want to keep them on camera and you can't use a ring light, then you could get some diffused panel lighting and light from the sides. You can get a kit for that for like from Newer for like maybe $150, or you could go all out and you could get for I think $160. You can get a aperture Arman light, like the it's like the Arman 200D, and you get that. Mm-hmm. You can put a filter diffuser on it for like $100, or like you could probably find some for $60 from Godox. Put that on. Now you've got diffused lighting with a lantern to really get the skin tones and shadows. So like a pro YouTuber setup is like to compete with like the biggest YouTubers, but do it on a budget and no one can tell the difference. You're only spending like $1,500. And I say only, like, and if you throw a Samsung laptop in there for like $800, like you throw in the Galaxy Book, or if you get like a MacBook Air or something, an M2 MacBook Air to have like the fastest editing, or if you got an iPad Pro to do your editing on, to use a mobile app editor or something like that, then like you could do it for like $1,500 to $2,500, and it's everything you need for your career for the next 3 years. For the next 3 years, you could operate with that setup, and everything you do will look clean, sound clean, be well lit, and you will be fine. And you can vlog, you can travel with it, and you will be fine. And you can make more or less the same content as a Casey Neistat with that setup. You can make stuff that looks like Casey Neistat with that setup. If you want to take it further, throw in, like, you could still be under $2,500. You could still throw in a DJI Mavic Mini or Spark. Get a $200, $250 drone if you want to be fancy, and yet you're still under like $2,500, and you can shoot, record, perfect audio, edit as fast as hell, and that's not that bad considering we're talking about, okay, the next 3 years of your career, you don't need to buy anything for the next 3 years of your career. Mm-hmm. That's like not bad. There are more ways to waste that money or spend that money that'll never make you another dollar. But again, you could start with your phone, and you could always just add a few $100s of phone accessories. Just put a better mic on your phone. There's a whole kit that you augment your phone. You throw $150 at it, and congratulations, $150 to make your phone into a great mobile studio. And then you get like an iPad Mini or a used iPad Air to edit on, and then you get LumaFusion, and you could just be a mobile content creator that way. So you don't have to go as fancy as I'm talking about, but if you wanted to be competitive, it's not that bad. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars per se. Maybe $1,500. Right. It depends.
Those are some powerful references. And for everyone that doesn't know, and I'm showing this on the screen for everyone that's watching, like on YouTube. Sure. I made the App Lifestyle, which is my very first YouTube channel. Every video on that channel was made just using my phone and a lavalier mic. And that channel was pretty successful just with that setup. So you don't have to have like these huge mental expectations of getting all this equipment right off the bat, because you judge yourself way too harshly. You can acquire this over the time of your career.
I did.
And yeah, and I remember like one thing you talked about on your channel is if if money is stressed, if anything, invest as much as you can into improving the audio standards. Because if someone clicks on your video and the audio sounds janky, the chance of them clicking off, which has a big impact in the performance in that video, is very high.
Yes. 100% audio over everything. Audio over everything. And then the next investment I'd probably say is lighting. And those are both relatively cheap to get to get to mid-tier on audio is like $150, right? Like, and you could get to the bottom of high tier for $300. You get to the bottom of high tier audio for $300. That's it. And that's the Sennheiser MKE 600. You know, when I got that, as you know, even with I recently got it back again because the other one, after 4 or 5 years of abuse, it finally died. So I replaced it. I got the MKE 600 again, and you know what? Even with hardwood floors, as long as I put the filter on it, perfect audio again. You know, so I did that. That was a big deal. For travel and for stuff, I got the MKH 416. That was $1,000. So that was the really high end of high end. But it's perfect. But that's perfect too. So, but the thing is, no one would know the difference except for an audiophile between the $300 microphone and the $1,000 microphone. Even with the hardwood floors, no one would know the difference. So that's something to keep in mind. And then with lighting, yeah, you could spend all kinds of money on lighting. You can go to thousands of dollars in lighting, sure. But you could get good lighting for between as much as, like, you get to mid-tier in lighting for like $90 all the way up to like $350. And you could be mid-tier in lighting. You know, you could be mid-tier in lighting, and like no one would criticize your lighting, and no one would know that you're not a big YouTuber from the quality that the lighting would be. So you could always do that. Like, the big difference is the leap from phone to camera, but a lot of people, depending on their content style, if you're a commentary channel, you are doing something similar to like the app lifestyle, and you're doing stuff on the go, or you're doing vlog like content, a phone will get you by for a very long time, at least until you're monetized and can make money.
And I'm going to say this statement, but this isn't financial advice, for entertainment purposes only. But when you do step your game up from an equipment perspective, it's tax deductible.
Yes. But more importantly, it compresses your time.
Yeah. And of course, when you can speed up your processes, then by default, you can get more content out there. You can serve your audience faster and better. And then the end result is you're going to be making more money. More
time is more money every time. So if you invest into investing into a laptop that edits faster, time, all of a sudden, videos that were taking you 12 and 8 hours start taking 3 and 4 hours. That's a lot of time to get back. That's a lot of time you can resell. So you make the ROI on the laptop investment and the software investment very quickly, because the process is just getting cut like in half, and then getting in halves of halves, and so on and so forth. So it's like that becomes a big deal. The same thing with when you start to get to the point of your footage is on a camera instead of a phone, and you're not editing on a phone anymore, the process for making content becomes a lot faster, and the process for not shooting content you can't use or that's unusable goes away. Same thing for improving the audio. Most people throw because of the audio. Most people throw content away because of the audio or because of the autofocus. So the minute you fix those, and the thing is, you can't really fix bad lighting in post. That's why it matters to get good at lighting, especially when you have darker complexions like ours. You have to really think about the lighting, and you have to learn how to make it work.
Sup, everyone. Y'all just watched a clip from one of the episodes of the Side Hustler Society podcast. If you want to check out the full episode, you can click on the link in the description right now, or click on the video that's showing in the end screen. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and hit that bell notification if you want to be notified when another episode drops. And a thumbs up on this video is very much appreciated. I'll catch you in the next one.